Dear travelers of life, life's journey is filled with signposts and milestones, some of which society suggests we must reach to be deemed successful. Yet it's often the pivotal events, the seismic shifts in our existence that truly awaken us, forcing us to question what we've been pursuing. How many of us can say we truly know what we desire, what speaks to the core of our being? The greatest wisdom lies in understanding these deep yearnings before it's too late. Today, we delve into the lesser-known corridors of Stoic philosophy to help you uncover what genuinely matters to your soul. Together, we'll sift through the noise and the clutter, aiming to reach the heart of authentic living. Self-scrutiny applied with kindness is the main antidote for selfishness. Have you ever paused to consider the why behind your desires? We often find ourselves in a perpetual chase driven by societal norms and expectations. True fulfillment, however, begins with self-awareness. Meet Linda, a high-flying executive in a multinational corporation. She'd climbed the corporate ladder with relentless determination, eyes set on the coveted corner office. The day she stepped into that space, filled with sunlight and the aroma of fresh leather, should have been the epitome of her dreams realized. But instead of elation, she felt an inexplicable emptiness, a hollow victory. Then, life threw her a curveball. Her father fell seriously ill. Visiting him in the hospital, watching the man who'd always been her rock now frail and vulnerable, Linda's world shifted on its axis. During late-night vigils by his bedside, she found herself questioning the trajectory of her life. Was that corner office, that title on her business card, really worth the sacrifices she'd made? The missed family dinners, the forgotten friendships, the personal passions set aside? It was in this crucible of emotion and contemplation that Linda truly met Epictetus's wisdom. Self-scrutiny, applied with kindness, became her solace. She began to realize that her relentless pursuit of career success was, in part, a craving for external validation that she mistook for self-worth. What she genuinely yearned for was something far simpler, yet profoundly more valuable: meaningful moments with the people she loved. This transformation wasn't an overnight revelation, but a gradual awakening. Linda started reallocating her time, setting boundaries at work, and reconnecting with her loved ones. Her father's illness served as a stark reminder of life's impermanence, propelling her to seek what truly mattered to her soul. True wealth consists of good character, good deeds, and a trained mind. Wealth. Society often equates it with material possessions, fancy cars, sprawling homes, luxurious vacations. But travelers of life, what if I told you that the richest treasures are not found in banks or real estate, but within your very being? Meet Thomas, a schoolteacher who had always been passionate about literature, a modest salary, a humble home, yet a heart brimming with joy. He'd sometimes catch himself envying his friend Mark, a successful entrepreneur who seemingly had it all. But a sudden tragedy, a devastating fire that razed Mark's mansion, turned Thomas's perspective upside down. Mark was left distraught, not merely due to the loss of property, but the realization that his identity was intricately tied to his material wealth. Thomas, on the other hand, found himself grateful for the simple things: his loving partner, his committed students, the joy he found in reading and imparting knowledge. As he reached out to help Mark navigate through this trying period, Thomas felt the depth of Chrysippus's wisdom. The truest form of wealth was his good character, his deeds, his trained mind. This episode was a revelation for Thomas. He began to appreciate the richness of his inner world, recognizing that his wealth was not quantifiable by societal standards, but immeasurable in its depth and quality. No longer did he see himself in the shadow of his more materially successful friend. Instead, he found richness in the intangible, in the aspects of life that money couldn't buy. For where else is freedom found than in the virtues? We often find ourselves in a world where actions are measured by their tangible rewards, promotions, public applause, or even social media likes. But what if the truest reward is something far less visible, yet infinitely more enriching? Meet Emily, a social worker who has dedicated her life to helping vulnerable children. Though she poured her heart into her work, the lack of societal recognition sometimes weighed heavy on her. Days melded into years, and Emily often found herself questioning the impact of her efforts. Then, on a chilly winter evening, a handwritten letter arrived. It was from Sarah, a young woman Emily had counseled a decade ago. Part of the letter read, "Because of you, Emily, I learned to believe in myself. Your kindness was my sanctuary, and it's the reason I am where I am today. I'm now a counselor, hoping to be for someone else what you were for me." Those simple yet profound words struck Emily like a bolt of lightning. It was an emotional reward that no accolade or monetary bonus could match. At that moment, the teachings of Seneca became crystal clear. Her freedom, her fulfillment was tied to the virtues she had upheld, not the accolade she had or had not received. Emily began to reflect on her journey, acknowledging that the true essence of her work lay in its intrinsic goodness. Her impact on Sarah and countless others was her legacy, her true reward. From that moment on, Emily's perspective shifted. She embraced her virtue as its own reward, understanding that this was the foundation upon which her sense of purpose and contentment was built. Nothing endures but change. Travelers of life, our attachment to permanence often blinds us to life's most poignant moments, leaving us clinging to things, circumstances, or people as if they are everlasting. But as Heraclitus wisely points out, the only true constant is change. Meet Sophia, a dedicated gardener who spent years cultivating a breathtaking rose garden. The vibrant colors and intoxicating fragrances were her pride and joy, a sanctuary where she found solace and happiness. Yet, a harsh winter storm devastated her garden, leaving behind a barren landscape. Sophia was heartbroken. The years of care and love seemed to have been erased overnight, but as she stumbled upon Heraclitus's wisdom, a transformative realization dawned on her. Nothing endures but change. The impermanence of her garden wasn't a curse, but a natural course of life. This newfound understanding freed Sophia. Instead of mourning what was lost, she found beauty in the cycle of life and death, in the very impermanence she had initially resisted. With renewed vigor, she replanted her garden, not as a permanent monument, but as a living, evolving testament to the ever-changing beauty of life. She realized that the essence of what mattered to her was not the garden itself, but the process of nurturing, growing, and even letting go. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. We often find our spirits tethered to the external world. Samuel, an impassioned artist, was no different. Each brushstroke was a fragment of his soul, a vulnerable expression of his innermost feelings. Yet the art galleries remained indifferent, the critics nonchalant. The lack of recognition clouded his mind, leading him down a path of self-doubt and emotional turmoil. The turning point came one fateful evening when, by happenstance, he stumbled upon the teachings of Epictetus. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. These words struck him like a bolt of lightning. As Samuel mulled over this newfound wisdom, a subtle transformation began to unfold within him. He felt as if a weight had been lifted, as if the clouds that had obscured his emotional sky had suddenly dispersed. For the first time in years, he picked up his paintbrush not to impress an audience or a critic, but to express himself purely and unapologetically. Samuel found a new sense of liberation, realizing that his true sanctuary lay within him, untouched by the fluctuating tides of external validation. His art became an act of self-love, a meditative process that brought him inner peace. External circumstances no longer held the power to rattle his emotional core. The tranquility he felt wasn't just a fleeting moment, but a lasting state of being, rooted in the deep understanding of what truly mattered to him. As we've journeyed together through these tales, each one of us has glimpsed reflections of our own lives in the stories of Linda, Thomas, Emily, Sophia, and Samuel. Each story, each Stoic principle, serves as a beacon, guiding us toward a deeper understanding of what genuinely enriches our souls. The world around us incessantly clamors for our attention, pulling us in a myriad of directions. But remember, the compass that leads to true happiness, to a life filled with purpose and meaning, resides within you. It's in the choices you make, the virtues you uphold, the impermanence you embrace, and the emotional sanctuary you build within your own heart. As you move forward, carry these lessons as your armor, your guiding stars. No longer let external circumstances dictate your internal state. Claim your freedom, find your purpose, and above all, cherish what truly matters to you. For in the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years. Farewell for now, dear travelers. May your journey be rich, your burdens light, and your spirit forever free.